Let's talk about the nicotine patch, genetic SNPs, and why my protocol is set up the way that it is and why it's different from the others. I have said before that I read an ebook that raised red flags to me, and I started my research, and that included genes. So I wanted to walk through some of these genes that I also have, and explain to you why my method works differently and to support these types of genes. So, about 70% of the population has some form of polymorphism with COMP, which is going to create a traffic jam of catecholamines, specifically dopamine. So, if you have this buildup of dopamine in your system, you're going to have anxiety, overstimulation, nervousness, insomnia, which can be exacerbated with a nicotine patch. And so, those are things that we want to be aware of, especially with such a high percentage of people experiencing this. And then when it comes to methylation type genes, there's more than MTHFR. We have a whole cycle. Hold on, I'll show you. So this is our big, beautiful methylation cycle. As you can see, MTHFR is right here and right here. So we have a lot of other genes to consider within the methylation cycle, not just those two genes. And when it comes to methylation polymorphisms, there's just a struggle to detox and to drain, and so that really needs to be supported when you are using these nicotine patches, and it's clearing off that receptor, that nicotinic acetylcholine receptor, and all of those toxins are being put back into circulation. And this isn't just, support the liver with some random liver complex or with just milk thistle or just dandelion. You have several different detox pathways that you need to maintain to ensure that all of that stuff gets out. Otherwise, it's just going to stay in circulation and move from one place to another. So you'll get that override of the system that you think everything is good, but then when you take the patch off or your receptors become sensitized or desensitized to the nicotine, then you're gonna crash. And that's what we see in a lot of people in the Facebook groups, is they really have a hard crash and they don't understand why. And it's likely because they have these genetic issues and they're not supporting detox, they're not supporting drainage, they're not remineralizing and replenishing and all the things that I talk about. So they just crash. I wanted to include these two because they are extremely critical in understanding methyl group demand. So they are located right here and right here. And as you can see, they are involved in this circle going round and round and this circle going round and round down into here and over here. So they are very, very high activity genes that the nicotine patches are going to require more methyl groups because it, kicks these guys into high gear. And so, with the not overworking, but like extra stimulation for working, you're just going to need to have more methyl groups. And instead of taking a bunch of more methylation supplements like SAMe, TMG, methylated B vitamins, etc., that comes from our microgreens. And it's natural sources of these things. So you don't have to worry about overdosing. It is a bioavailable natural source. And again, about 75% of the population has an issue here. We know a high amount of population. This is debated right now. It's at least 60, but I know that it's pushing 80 to 90% that people just have a methylation issue of some sort in that big cycle. CBS is right here. So as you can see, this cycle has processed, this cycle has processed, and it's come back around. But CBS can go this way or it can go that way. So again, it's like these guys right here. It works a lot and double time, and the nicotine patch is going to cause it to work more. So if you have an issue here, you can see that using the nicotine patch is going to cause additional issues. It's going to cause additional demand and stress on that gene. And if there's issues there, then you're really going to have a problem. So over here, we see that it has to deal with detox and drainage. So that's where the binders come into play, where I've recommended that we support the detoxification process, we support the draining process, and support binders. And that is covered by the Guna drops that I really, really love, the liver support tincture, the lymphatic support tincture, and again, microgreens. Microgreens provide a lot of fiber that people don't recognize or is often dismissed, but natural plant fiber binds toxins and helps support gut health as well as just elimination. And PEMT is the last one that we're going to talk about. And this is just a really short list, but there are a lot of others. But PEMT has to directly deal with phosphatidylcholine. And this one is upwards of 80% of the population have it, specifically women. And this is going to create a demand for additional detox support, additional liver support. Sorry, it's still really early in the morning for me. I haven't even started my day. Just thought we would have a little chat. And it requires choline replenishment. So as you can see, my entire the missing signal approach, there's a method to my madness. There's a reason why it's set up the way that it is, because it just takes into account all of these genetic issues that I'm not seeing other people really talk about. And I don't want to mask symptoms. I want people to heal. And that requires being aware of why. It's science. It's just basic science. It's just understanding biology and human anatomy and genetics. And those are all things that I love and can think about without even having coffee like I am right now. Just to show you where PEMT is in this process, it's right here. So that's where the superfood microgreens and the Solace was formulated. Not just the tea, but also the tincture. And they're both great and individually and together. Teas, think of low dose and extended release, and tinctures, think of like full maximum dose and an immediate right now release, but it's like more short acting. So they can be used together or individually, but they really have a lot of benefit. The microgreens and the herbs together provide all of the cofactors required for those genes, as well as vitamins, so that they can actually function even though there are genetic problems. We're just supporting those needs. And I want to make sure to mention not using salt directly, even if it says it's a mineral salt, because when we are chronically ill or we have autoimmunity, or we are experiencing that really long-term chronic stress, we deplete magnesium and potassium, but salt depletes magnesium and potassium. So some salt is needed. I am not anti-salt, but doing high dose like salt therapies are not for the chronically ill, because to get the minerals and the other electrolytes besides the salt needed, you would have to consume a fatal dose of salt to get the amount of magnesium that you need for that day. That's not gonna work. So do not just do salt. You can use salt like to enhance the flavor of your food, or salt in balance is fine, but salt only is just going to further cause damage. A lot of you have sent me emails and DMs about needing to talk more. I have opened up health coaching calls, 30-minute a la carte chats. I have 3 different schedules for functional medicine clinics that I am working with, so I only have a limited amount of time. But if you need help talking this stuff through, please reach out. I will help anyone that I can to heal, to regulate, replenish, and reclaim your life.